Jazz was born in the United States around the end of the 19th century, mainly in New Orleans. It was the result of the meeting of African rhythmic tradition with European instruments, such as saxophone, trumpet, piano, double bass drums, and guitar. In jazz, each musician has a voice they improvise but follow a common rhythm. Louis Armstrong, Miles Davis, and Charlie Parker changed music forever with the sound of their trumpet. Pop word comes from popular, meaning music for everyone. Pop is designed to be enjoyable, simple, and catchy, and as of the most talks about love interests. It began in the 1950s and has evolved over the years, with icons like Madonna, Michael Jackson, and today Taylor Swift or Billie Eilish. Pop changes with each era because it reflects technology and the emotions of each singer. Disco emerged in the 70s in the clubs of New York. It was music for dancing, with steady rhythms and cheerful lights. It combined soul, funk, and Latin influences. Often, this music includes clean electric guitars, prominent electric bass, acoustic drum kits, strings, and horns. The great disco songs, such as those Donna Summer and the Village People, gave rhythm to an entire era that loved the freedom of the night. Disco paved the way for modern electronic music and the dance scene. Rock began in the 1950s as an extension of rhythm and blues and country. The first rock musicians like Elvis Presley and later the Beatles brought energy, electric guitars, bass guitar, drums, and revolution. Rock was not just music. It was a way of life, a cry for freedom from the rules of society. Then came the offshoots: rock and roll, hard rock, punk, and heavy metal. Each had its own identity, but they all spoke of the same thing: passion and independence. Folk music is perhaps the most human form of music. It is the music of the people, written and sung without frills. In every country, folk tells stories of love, war, and joy. It was made famous by artists like Bob Dylan and Joan Baez, who used folk to speak about social change. Folk music has a mix of acoustic guitar, banjo, fiddle, mandolin, accordion, and harmonica, as well as various wind instruments. Electronic music was born from computers and synthesizers in the 80s. From techno to house and from trance to dubstep, this music is based on the power of rhythm and sound. It's often a part of synthesizers, drum machines, electric guitar, electric bass drum machine, and samplers. It is the music of festivals, clubs, and DJs like Diplo, Martin Garrix, and Marshmello who create experiences, not just songs. House was born in Chicago, influenced by disco and funk in the 80s. It was named after the club Warehouse, where DJs experimented with drum machines, synthesizers, heavy electronic bass. It is the music of constant flow and dance. Dubstep is an electronic genre that emerged in London in underground clubs, along with a dark, heavy sound. Strong bass as well as dynamic bass, drops that make the audience break with mixed synthesizers, drum machines, or all of these from DAWs. In the late 1990s, well-known artists are Skrillex, Benga, and Scream. Dubstep brought heavy electronic bass to the mainstream and influenced the entire EDM scene. Classical music began in Europe, mainly from the 17th to the 19th centuries. It originated in the religious music of churches and evolved into complex symphonies and operas. Composers such as Bach, Mozart, and Beethoven shaped the structure we know today: symphonies, sonatas, and orchestras with violins, flutes, piano, and cellos. It was a time when music was considered both a science and an art, and accuracy in notes meant perfection and feeling. R&B has its roots in the African American communities of the United States since the 1940s. It is a combination of soul, gospel, technology, rhythm, and funk, usually has drum machines and electronic beats, synths, and electric piano groovy bass. But its modern form, R&B, came in the 1980s and 1990s. Some famous artists are Stevie Wonder, Beyoncé, The Weeknd. R&B combines emotion and technology, soul and rhythm together. Trap is a genre of music that originated in the southern United States, primarily in Atlanta, Georgia, in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The term trap comes from the slang word for places where illegal drug dealing took place, which is reflected in the genre's early songs' dark, hard-hitting lyrics and intense street atmosphere. Initially, trap was considered a subgenre of hip-hop, but it soon gained its own identity thanks to its intense beat, heavy bass, and fast hi-hats. Its production relies almost entirely on digital music technology, synthesizers, drum machines, and production software such as FL Studio. Hip-hop was born in the slums of the Bronx, New York, in the 1970s. DJs would cut and paste records, creating beats over which rappers would improvise rhymes. Later added keyboards to electronic gear like drum machines, samplers, and synthesizers. It was the voice of young people who had no other platform to speak. From Tupac to Eminem and Kendrick Lamar, rap evolved from a social protest to often referred about sex, money, and illegal work, then became global musical phenomenon.